Hey guys, Brett Weiss here. Welcome to another video. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. It's super helpful. If you like retro gaming, you came to the right place. It's been a while since I've done some vlogging, when I've just hung out with you guys and talked about what I've been up to lately. Just sort of an informal discussion. Didn't really make extensive notes or anything. Not going to do any edits. Just going to hang out with you guys and talk. So feel free to comment on anything I'm saying here in the video, and let's just get to it. So I'm working on a series. I will talk some drama here in a little bit, but maybe not what you think. I am working on a series of videos, what I call Mount Rushmore. Now, I've done a couple of these already. Previously, I did one on the Super Nintendo and some other console. I don't remember which off the top of my head. But anyway, I'm going to restart this and do a whole bunch of consoles, the 4 most iconic games for each system, for many, many systems. This is going to be a ton of fun. I'll be doing these a lot over the next few weeks. Really looking forward to it. I'm already having fun recording it. So my editor will be working on these over the next few weeks. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Guys, rockers, metalheads, there's a renaissance of great rock and roll as from the old guys. I don't know if you call it a renaissance. Whatever it is, a bunch of old guys are putting out some great rock and roll. I love Ace Frehley's new album. Judas Priest's new album is absolutely killer. Maybe the best one since Painkiller. Heck, maybe even the best one since Turbo. Maybe even the best one since, you tell me in the comments. The new Stones album, or at least the recent Stones album, absolutely incredible. Keith Richards and Mick Jagger and company are just doing amazing work in their 80s. Mick Jagger's voice just blows my mind. Just about any singer who's in their 60s and older, and maybe even their 50s and older, you hear some degradation in their voice. Something. A little hoarse, a little raspy. I mean, you hear it with Paul McCartney, you hear it with Paul Stanley, you hear it with Axl Rose, you hear it with Vince Neil. To put it kindly, you hear it with a lot of older singers, and that's perfectly natural. And I'm age shaming, I totally get it. But guys, Mick Jagger is supernatural. I'm convinced he's hit the fountain of youth or something now. You wouldn't know it by the wrinkles. Sorry, getting off topic here, not age shaming. That's just what happens to us. I got plenty of wrinkles myself. But the guy is incredible. He moves around on stage like crazy. My wife, Chris, and I recently saw Stevie Nicks and Billy Joel in Dallas. Incredible show. It was great, but they're obviously older and they don't move as fast as they used to. Their voices still sounded really good, but you heard some degradation. With Mick Jagger on his newest album, on the Stones' newest album, Hackney Diamonds, you cannot hear a bit of degradation in his voice. It's just phenomenal. It's like listening to a Stones album from the 80s. Maybe their best album since Steel Wheels. You let me know in the comments. Guys, I have always loved going to rock and roll shows, and like I said, my latest one was Stevie Nicks and Billy Joel. Beginning in high school, beginning when I was 16 years old, I started going to concerts. Now, before that, I saw a handful at Six Flags. People like Larry Gatlin, Crystal Gayle, Sister Sledge, and some of these random acts, some country acts, which I really liked. But just a few days after I turned 16, or actually, I think it was before I turned 16. It was 1982. Yeah, before I turned 16, I saw Journey in concert, and then Kiss and ZZ Top and Robert Plant and all these amazing shows. Me and my friends would go to concerts all the time. It seemed like every week we were going to another show. As a matter of fact, during my high school years, just 10th through 12th grade, I saw over 60 arena rock shows. We're talking big venues and just talking, 60 headliners, more than 60. Now, you also count the opening acts, sometimes multiple opening acts, and then if you count smaller shows like at bars and stuff, I saw a ton of live music during my high school years. It was so much fun, and then I did that a lot up through about the mid-90s when I started having kids. That slowed way down, obviously, because, new priorities, new responsibilities, totally understandable, and it was well worth it. Got awesome kids. They're amazing. Both of my kids they teach, and they are just amazing. My son just recently won Teacher of the Year in his district. My daughter is working on her doctorate. Just mind-blowing. They got their smarts and everything from their mother. It's awesome. Good kids. Perhaps they got some good stuff for me too. Let me know in the comments. Great kids. Amazing stuff. I'm just super fortunate for this. I've been redesigning my game room. Now, what you see behind me is what you see in a lot of the videos, but Over here, and I'll show this at a video at some point, got my Galaga machine, my big screen TV that I want at work, and then right over there, and I'll show you guys at some point, I've already sent some pictures to my Patreon. I did a Patreon update and show them the work in progress. Got some new IKEA black Billy bookshelves that are just perfect for DVDs. I'm gonna keep my games here and over there and over there and over there. Plenty of room for games, but I've got great new shelving for my DVDs and VHS and all that kind of stuff, movie memorabilia and stuff like that. I will show you guys in a future video. What have I been playing recently? That's a good question. So the last few weekends, I've just spent a few hours each playing God of War for the PS4 and the Crash Bandicoot Remastered Collection. Great games. Just the right balance of challenging and fun, just the right amount of, exploration and puzzles to solve. Just great stuff with both games. I love both of them. They're tons of fun. Been having a lot of fun with those. Just playing them a few hours each weekend, on the weekend. Plus, I've been playing some Taito collection for the Switch. I picked that up recently at a convention I went to for just $15 for a brand new copy. Now, during the evening, when I have time, when I'm not, out running or spending time with the wife or doing whatever, getting some work done or whatever, I've been playing some Atari 2600. Now, you might have seen on my website, I recently reviewed Squeezebox and Off the Wall. These are fun games, but they definitely have flaws. They are not perfect. And check out the reviews on brettweisswords.com for those. Enjoyable games, but they have significant flaws that you can read about there. I've also been playing Tapper for the 2600. I have forgotten what a great port this is, guys. It's so good that it trounces the ColecoVision version. I never thought the ColecoVision version of Tapper was one of the better ports for the console. It's just not as accurate as some of those earlier ports like Mousetrap and Ladybug and Pepper 2 and Frenzy. Just incredible ports for the ColecoVision. Tapper isn't as good as though. It's playable and it's solid, but the graphics aren't as good and it's not as accurate as those ones I mentioned. But Tapper for the 2600 is fast. It's got great controls. And wow, compared, relative to the 2600, it is an amazing port and super fun. And just in terms of playing it, I'd rather play the 2600 version. And I don't always say that about the 2600 compared to the ColecoVision. You guys know how much I love both consoles, but I tend to err on the side of the ColecoVision when it comes to the same game, for the most part. But Tapper, 2600 all the way. So, this is completely random, but do any of you guys have a gigantic Foot Locker near your house? The shoe store, you see this in the mall a lot. There's a Foot Locker about 15 minutes from my house that actually has a full-sized basketball goal. And if you follow me on social media, on my personal page, I put some video of me playing, doing a reverse layup and a couple of three-point shots and stuff. But I just want to tell you guys this because it makes me so happy, because I love to play basketball and I love to go to the park. I still do that in my advanced years, still enjoy that a lot. But it's so cool that on a super windy day or an extremely hot day or when it's raining or icy or whatever, and I just can't seem, I might play some Wii Sports and do some push-ups or whatever. If you don't know this about me, I've got an insane amount of just energy. You can call it nervous energy. You can call it just being fit. You can call it insanity, whatever the case. I'm just, about to jump out of my seat if I have to sit too long. I've got just a ridiculous amount of energy. I absolutely love to play basketball. That's my favorite sport. When I was in 6th grade, I'll finish the Foot Locker thing real quick and I'll give you some background on my basketball information. I will talk more games later in the video too, including some conventions I'll be at later this year and some other things like that, and a little YouTube drama. So it's so cool that this Foot Locker, you just go in free, anybody can play, and it's a big half-court, full-size goal, and they have several basketballs laying around at all times, and you just go in there and shoot some baskets. Usually there's 2 or 3 other people playing, or there might be several, but I still have a good time, and it's a great alternative to not being able to play at all, because I love to shoot hoops, just about every week. And Foot Locker is a great alternative. So, plus, you can check out some cool shoes while you're there. And there's some restaurants nearby, so it's a great place. If I go have a meal and I want to work off a little bit of that, or better yet, before the meal, work up a good appetite, shoot some hoops at Foot Locker. Let me know in the comments if you've ever seen a Foot Locker like this. It's so cool. So yeah, when I was little, I was incredibly shy. I hated public speaking. I didn't like doing anything like that. Getting up in front of the people and talking in school was just terrifying. I was so shy, painfully so. Well, obviously I've come out of that shell and gaming has helped that a lot. In 6th grade, I'll get to that why gaming helped in a minute, because going back to the roots of basketball, I grew up playing basketball. Before I played it in my driveway, we had a hoop further out in the grass, and we played it so much that the ground got hard. It pressed down the dirt in the grass so hard that we would play basketball. We had a hoop on our clubhouse and a full-sized hoop by the fence, and my brother and I would play. I was Jerry West, and he was Wilt Chamberlain. That dates us a little bit, but we would have so much fun playing that. He would be underneath. I'd feed him passes for the assist and the dunk, and I'd shoot from outside, and he would shoot from outside. Had so much fun, and as we grew up and got a better basketball goal on our cement driveway, friends would come over. We constantly had neighbors, 2-on-2, 4-on-4, 3-on-3 in our driveway, and my brother's friends would come over. My friends would come over. My dad would play with us, and he was a really good athlete. He was well up into his 60s. He was playing on his work softball team, really impressive. He was the kind of guy that was always out doing pull-ups or walking the dog or jogging or, doing yard work. He was very fit, and I admired that, and I tried to follow that as best I could. And I just enjoy physical activity all the time, and I feel sorry for people who don't. I know there are people that don't like to go outside, that don't like to get sweaty. That's just not what they like, and there are certain things I don't like that would benefit me that I don't do. So I'm not categorizing anybody. I'm just saying every one of us have things we probably should be doing or shouldn't be doing that we do or don't do, and I'm right there with you guys. But I just happen to like physical activity and working out and doing all that kind of stuff. So it benefits me in some ways. But like I said, there's other things that I won't get into that I probably should be doing that I don't. But anyway, I was so painfully shy as a kid. As much as I love basketball, I didn't want to be on the basketball team. They had City League, and I did not want to play. I would have loved to, but I was just too shy. I told my mom, don't sign me up for anything. My brother was in Boy Scouts. I didn't want to do that. Just painfully shy. Now at school, I would have friends because I would see people every day and I would get more comfortable being around them. But as far as being, in this new situation, like when school would first start, I was really nervous. I didn't play basketball till I was in 6th grade, and I took to it. I loved it. I'd played at home for so much. I was a pretty good player by this point, and I would start every game. And, there were like 8 players on the team, and a lot of times I would play the whole game. I would, coach would say, you need to come out to rest. I was like, no way. And I would want to play, and I played super aggressive on both ends, getting rebounds, playing defense, shooting from outside, whatever the case. Love me some basketball. It's my favorite sport. And I grew up loving to watch basketball. As a matter of fact, we went to a Mavericks game, Dallas Mavericks in 1980, my very first pro sports game or pro basketball game to attend. We went to Texas Rangers games when I was little, the baseball team, $2 to sit in the outfield. Pretty incredible. But the Dallas Mavericks, I loved watching basketball on television. I grew up, Dr. J was my childhood hero, along with Ace Frehley and Mr. Spock and a few others. But Dr. J was my man, and just incredible. To this day, he's one of my biggest influences and one of the coolest celebrities that I can think of. And I've never met, unfortunately, hopefully someday. But anyway, I finally worked up the courage to play basketball in 6th grade, and I played in 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade. In 7th grade, our team went to the championship, and we got up to a 6-0 lead against a heavily favorite team. A lot of school districts have the team that they win at everything, and that we were playing that team, and we got up 6-0, and we were really excited, and they ended up winning, and I was very sad. And on the bus ride home, a lot of people were laughing and talking, and the coaches were in a great mood. They knew that we had a successful season. They weren't upset. Coaches tend to get pissed off a lot throughout the season, but if you make it to the finals, the final game, and you lose and you gave it your all, they're usually going to be in pretty good spirits, even if you lost, and they were this time. But I was very sad. But anyway, quit basketball after 10th grade. I wasn't crazy about this particular coach, and I wanted to work. I wanted money. I got a full-time job at a barbecue restaurant, and I worked my way up after 6 months to be a supervisor, and I was telling 20, 30, and 40-somethings what to do, telling their jobs when I was 16. A lot of them didn't think too much of that. Anyway, I've talked about that before. Maybe you guys have heard that on this channel. But anyway, yeah, grew up a huge basketball fan. So let's get to the drama on YouTube. I just have a little sort of general commentary about it. Now, some people accuse certain channels of being drama channels. They latch on to anything that happens in the industry, and we'll discuss it because, one, they know it's going to get a lot of views. It's what their viewers want to hear. It's what they want to watch. They'll get people that don't regularly watch their channels for their video game information, just the basic stuff like favorite games or what I'm playing or pickups. They'll get a lot of other people coming in for the drama. So I totally get it. And I really have no trouble with drama channels as long as they're being decent about it. I sort of look at it like the news. If you tune into the news, they're going to cover the drama. If it leads, it bleeds. They're going to talk about specific things that happen in our culture. And within YouTube gaming, they talk about within our gaming culture, whether it's Gerard or Gamergate or anything else. These are relevant topics. The Amico, a lot of drama there. And I have no problem with some of these YouTubers that talk about these situations. Now, if they milk it too much, that can get boring. But maybe I could be accused of this, talking about one topic in particular too much. Sure, go ahead, that's fine. But I try to, I've covered controversial topics before, especially when I was doing more videos, on a more regular basis. I would talk about certain topics, but I would only do it when something new happened or when something new occurred to me to talk about. I tried not to just talk about a controversial or dramatic topic just for the sake of doing it, just reviews. I would only do it to the best of my ability when there was a new news item, like if the company would announce something or somebody said something in particular that was noteworthy or newsworthy. And if a drama channel, let's use Smash JT, for example. He does drama videos. He covers a lot of news and gaming and a lot of the negatives, but he typically does a video when something new comes up, like there's a new piece of information he wants to cover. And I have no problem with that. It's just, and another thing, people say, hey, if you're covering something very sensitive, you shouldn't monetize the video. I don't have any problem with that. I monetize all my videos. That's just the rule. And the reason is, I don't have a problem with this. Again, think about the news. No, we're not news anchors. And some of us are journalists, some of us aren't. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about they cover topics. YouTubers cover topics. Some of these topics are sad, some of them are negative, some of them are positive, some of them are neutral, just all kinds of topics. Well, if you turn on your TV to these news stations or even faux news stations, like some of these, really heavily biased cable channels, you're always going to get commercials because money keeps things flowing. It helps. If you're doing, if you're spending all this time doing YouTube, you want to get a little money for it just to help pay for your time. Most of us do YouTube because we enjoy it, because we have a passion for whatever subject matter we're talking about. But it's nice to get some spending money at the same time to put gas in your car or to have a nice meal or whatever. So I have no problem monetizing the vast majority of videos. It's for a lot of YouTubers. Now, YouTubing is not my job, but especially for people who do YouTube for a living, just monetize it. Put your links to all your stuff, your affiliates, your Patreon, whatever. Make your money how you can. Your fans love you, so go for it. And don't listen to the haters. Speaking of the haters, I try as hard as I can to get along with everybody. Now, I mentioned earlier that I'm scheduled to appear at a number of gaming conventions this year. And I've got a list so far, and I'm sure this list will grow throughout the year. It always does. So far, I'm going to be at Classic Game Fest in Austin, the Houston Arcade Expo. I'll be a guest at the ones I'm mentioning here. Now, I'm going to be working some other shows, but I'll cover that in another video. But as far as guests, as being a guest, this year at shows, I'll be a guest at the Classic Game Fest in Austin, the Houston Arcade Expo in, you guessed it, Houston. Korgs in Columbus, Ohio. The Portland Retro Gaming Expo. Wow, great show. And in some ways, the granddaddy of them all as far as what led up to the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. Topic for another day. Amazing show. And for the very first time, I'm going to be a guest at a show in Detroit. What's it called? The Detroit Retro Gaming Expo or the Detroit Retro Expo? Sorry, I don't have that in front of me. that show's not until November, so I will definitely do its own video about being at that show because I've never been there before. And I'm really excited. But guys, I try to get along with everyone in my walk of life, unless somebody's just incredibly egregious and it's toxic to be around them or to communicate with them, that's different. But I do try to get along with everybody, and people will tell me, I guess they can sense this, that I try to be a friend to people or a friend of the industry or whatever and just try to get along. They'll tell me, don't associate with person X because they're this. Don't do this convention because this convention promoter is X. Don't collaborate with this writer because this writer is X. And I just, like I said, unless there's something that just really stands out, I can't police everybody that does everything that I've interacted with. I've had, maybe 150 or more contributing writers, contributing nostalgic stories to my books. I've collaborated with other YouTubers. People have said, they will say, hey, you should not do this convention because they didn't like a particular thing that promoter had done, or they didn't like the way they ran their show. And I'm just saying, sorry, I've booked my table or I've already accepted an invite as a guest, and they've treated me well, and they're here among us, and if they've done anything, maybe they've done their penance. I don't know. I can't police every person I interact with or try to be pleasant to. And even people that I've had conflict with in the past, for whatever reason, I try to stay on the friendly side of things. But even when things have gone south, I've at least tried to deal with those people respectfully and logically, and with some manner of acceptance, or at least tolerance in some fashion, as long as they don't get too egregious. Sometimes I have to call a situation or a person out if it just gets too ridiculous, and I've done that on occasion. All right, guys, we've gone over 20 minutes here. Let me know in the comments about, what rock and roll have you been listening to, what concerts have you been to lately, what games you've been playing, what conventions you plan on attending this year, anything at all, guys. Just unplugged, uncensored, unfiltered today. I guess we're plugged in, but you know what I mean. No edits, just having some fun here. I thought I'd give my editor a video off. Anyway, thank you, James, my editor, for doing so much great work for my videos. I really appreciate it. You're a great dude and a great friend, and man, you're one of a kind. I appreciate that. But anyway, and thank you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. And mega points if you know what this shirt is from, what this shirt represents. Leave me a note in the comments. All right, guys. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Again, please comment, please like, please subscribe. Do all the things. Hey, I just thought of something. There was a video I did about contributing writers to my books, and that are literal contributions, and how we help each other, how I'll appear on their videos, or I'll write for free for their books and all that kind of stuff. One thing I did, just for an example, guys, I've worked with Adam Koralik. He's been on my channel, I've been on his channel, and that kind of stuff. I gave up an entire 3-day weekend to walk around Dallas filming him as he did his JFK video. Now, I don't say that to be like, oh, I'm great, or whatever. I thought it was cool. I found it an honor and a privilege, as a matter of fact. I thought it was amazing. We had so much fun. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about, this is a community, guys. If you don't get it, I hear you. I understand. But a lot of us YouTubers, a lot of us authors, we collaborate on things. That's just how we roll. I wasn't about to ask Adam for a penny for doing that, because it was fun. And a lot of us have fun doing these great collaborations. So that's just how it is. All right, guys. Anyway, I've droned on long enough. Thank you so much for watching. We'll talk to you in another video.